What does potassium do?
Potassium is an essential mineral that functions as an electrolyte. So it's particularly important for cardiovascular health, bone health, and renal health. But let's focus in on three health conditions in particular whose risk is lowered by increased dietary potassium. Let's look at hypertension, high blood pressure, kidney stones, and risk of stroke. A variety of controlled clinical trials have shown that upping potassium intake lowers blood pressure regardless of sodium intake. A 2015 meta-analysis showed that upping potassium reduced systolic blood pressure by 6.8 millimeters of mercury and diastolic blood pressure by 4.6 millimeters of mercury. The authors showed that the blood pressure lowering effects of potassium were greatest in the people who had low dietary potassium to begin with. Potassium seems to protect against kidney stone risk by lowering urinary calcium excretion. Studies show that people with the highest dietary potassium have up to a 56% lower risk of developing kidney stones compared to the people with the lowest dietary potassium. And several meta-analyses have shown that consuming more dietary potassium lowers risk of stroke, with a 13 to 30% risk reduction for people consuming at least 3,500 milligrams of potassium daily. Now, before you run out and buy a potassium supplement, first check with your doctor because potassium supplements can be quite caustic. And also remember that these three health conditions are each multifactorial, and potassium is just one of many nutrients that affect our risk. And that's why the goal of Nutrivore is to get all of the nutrients our bodies need from the foods we eat. If you're interested in learning more about Nutrivore as a dietary philosophy, I recommend grabbing a copy of my book. And if you're interested in learning more about all of the different ways getting more potassium can improve our long-term health, then I recommend checking out my article on potassium on Nutrivore.com. Click on nutrients, click on potassium. Biological roles and health effects are towards the top of the article. Problems from too much or too little potassium is in the middle of the article, and all of the best food sources near the bottom.